This is your 1 to 2 minute warning to go grab yourself something to drink. I am going to check and make sure that I am live on Facebook and YouTube real quick. And since every video I'm trying to do that and then read my script, I figured tonight I could just memorize that little bit and tell you that I'm going to go check all the feeds to make sure that I am coming up as I should. So that's what I'm going to do. I have a new light right in front of me tonight, so we'll see how that works. I feel like something weird is going on with my eyeballs. What can you do? And tell you that I'm going to go check all the. Let me turn the volume off on that one. And let's go check our Facebook. Close that. And I think that's the shirt I'm wearing tonight. Why is that saying? I'm going to have to go in and edit all of this stuff in the video because for some reason it is off on that much, showing all kinds of things from the 3rd of January. So not really sure what's going on with that. Let me open up my chat box. There we go. And we're going to go back to that info script or intro script just for a minute so that I make sure that I say the things that I'm supposed to say, even though I've been saying this for quite some time now. I don't know what's going on. I think my memory is slowly leaving me, but whatever. So, hey, hi, how are you? I'm Heidi. I am a work at home handmade business owner at HeidiMind.com, as well as a homeschool mom of tween-age girls, which that will be changing very soon. My oldest is just about to become a teenager, and that is frightening. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I go live on Facebook and on YouTube on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. During the live, I share things about my business, our homeschooling, and sometimes our personal lives. Actually, I pretty much always share something about our personal lives. Be sure to follow me on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube to get notifications when I post videos or go live. And feel free to hit the thumbs up button, as this does help more people just like you find this content and come hang out with us. If you are joining me live tonight, please comment with #live. If you are watching this on the replay, #replay. Again, this just helps the algorithms to push out the content to more people that are watching the same thing or similar artists, content creators, whatever people want to call us. I don't love the title of influencer, but whatever, we'll roll with that. And if you aren't already subscribed, please feel free to join the email list. That link should be in the show notes or it'll be in the comments when the live is posted. That will also send you updates, what I'm doing in my business, gives you coupons and sales goodies and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I didn't go completely off script today. Hi, Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane is one of my in real life friends and fellow homeschool mom. And usually I like to shout her out for not only supporting me by being in the live during the live, but she has an amazing channel where she talks about their homeschooling journey. And she just did, not just, I just watched it, her box lunch upload haul. That was so fun. So definitely check that out. And if it doesn't show the live, her YouTube handle is Home with Sarah Jane. Okay. Funny side note. When I was updating my script in Google Docs, the autocorrect. I'm reading some of my notes um, and mumbling through it. So the autocorrect wanted to change the words work at home to housewife. Dear Google, those are not the same thing. No disrespect to housewives. I am a housewife. I mean, you know, ladies unite. Uh, but being a work at home mom and housewife are different because I run a business and I happen to be doing that inside of my home while I'm doing the other things. So I'm not sure why Google did that. I don't I mean I've seen them autocorrect spellings, but I've never actually seen them autocorrect content. So that was interesting. It was interesting. So a couple of different things. I usually do updates for home, homeschool, and business. So, a couple of home updates. Yes, our Christmas tree is still up. It is coming down tonight. We were going to do that the other night, and then we got distracted. And what can you do? So, that is coming down tonight. I think we only have like a dozen ornaments on our tree, so I don't know why we didn't take it down already. It is what it is. My kitchen is still clean. I have been working on getting some extra organization done to make more counter space. If you have not already checked it out, I do have my very first prep with me meal prep video listed. That was a nightmare trying to get that edited and listed. I feel like it took me longer to edit that than it did to record it. Um, and and I do have to thank Sarah Jane because she was able to give me a tip about where I could edit the content because the raw footage it takes up too much file space, and so all the free options they didn't want to like deal with me. It was a nightmare. So yeah, so check that out. The part two is going to be listed on I think on Saturday. Um, I forget what I'm going to upload on Thursday tomorrow. I think I'm doing, let me check my notes. Oops, I moved my light. Um, yeah, editing takes forever. I was shocked. Do, do, do. Tomorrow's the 19th. Oh, sorry, I didn't know where my head went. So it does say I'm posting part two tomorrow, so I'm going to change that. I'm totally changing that because that's not edited and I have a lot of stuff to do tonight. So tomorrow will be my KiwiCo unboxing. We get a KiwiCo subscription for our homeschooling, and that one is mostly edited, so I know that I can get that up and live overnight. So part two of the meal prep will be uploaded on Saturday, and if you hit that bell notification, I don't know what side this is going to um, show. Like, this is my right hand and this is my left hand. And on the screen in front of me, I'm backwards, but sometimes I think it flips back around when it's like showing up on your end. So I don't even know. But whatever side the bell icon is, if you click that, it gives you notifications directly from YouTube when I upload new content. So that's that. Let's see, where was I? So yeah. So the counter space, and yeah, when I was doing the meal prep, I was realizing how inefficient my kitchen is. um, Not to get too in depth with it, but basically, my husband always had to have things a certain way. Even if he wasn't the person that was primarily using the space, like he liked things a certain way, and part of marriage is compromise. So I would just kind of let that slide, like whatever, whatever. If he wanted the ice maker to take up like a huge amount of counter space, I was going to work around it. um, and Unfortunately, he is no longer with us. You can not to push traffic, but I have a whole write up about it on my blog. I'm not going to get into it on YouTube. Um, And so I decided I was going to move that ice machine into the garage because the kids and I don't use the ice machine. It's like a little counter one. Um, and that made so much more space. Like I could put both of my Instant Pots where that one thing went. Not that I'm going to, but like it was huge. So yeah, so I've been moving things around. I've been moving like things from different cupboards just to make it more functional for the girls and I because like that's how it has to work. If you want other people to put things away, you have to put it where they're going to remember. So I'm excited about the changes that I'm making to my kitchen. And yeah, and so hopefully that will help in the next batch of meal prep that I will be doing in like a month or so. Basically, the meal prep that I do is it's 10 different recipes, uh, but you make them twice. So you're making essentially 20 dinners in one session. Or basically, I think she says that the woman that created it, she does it in like 4 hours. It took me quite a bit longer for all kinds of reasons that you can watch in the video. Um, but yeah, but then you can break it down into sections. So you could do like a 2 hour chunk of time and a 2 hour chunk of time. Uh, and I had thought I was going to do like 2 months at once, and that wasn't going to work. So I figure, okay, I just did the one. We have a good amount of meals, and then as those start to dwindle down, I'll do the next one, and we'll be good. And I'm trying to regulate how I'm speaking because I noticed that when I'm live, I talk really fast, but in the recordings that I was doing, I tend to talk slower. And I know like it's natural that we don't like the sound of our own voice, but that seemed really weird to me that I do that. My I made a note that my dining room is still even clean, so that's bonus points I think for me. I'm gonna add these up at the end of the year and buy myself a cookie. Uh, and then I took out my Fly Lady notebook. If you're not familiar with Fly Lady, check them out. They're awesome. And so I'm going to start teaching the girls about Fly Lady and how that system of cleaning works. And I will talk about that a little bit more later when I talk about the chore thing, chore lists and whatnot. But I just wanted to mention that here that is an update for the week that I have already started diving into that. Homeschool, things are just moving along. A lot of homeschool families, I feel like they hit this wall towards the end of January and like the whole month of February. In California, where I'm located, the weather is normally nicer. Like we have a little bit of rain and then we have a bunch of sun and a little bit of rain and a bunch of sun. And we've had a ton of rain lately. Uh, I drove to the charter school yesterday and there is this parking lot and Sarah, you know what I'm talking about. um, you have to turn like off the main road onto the side highway, and there's this gas station, convenience store. They have like four pumps. Yeah, it just looks like a really old um like convenience store. And their parking lot is just a lake right now. They have signs up all over that they're closed, probably because you can't get into the parking lot. The water is almost up to the pumps. Um, yeah, Sarah says her backyard is a swamp. I haven't even gone in my backyard. I don't even know. Like I can look out the window, but it was mostly dirt to begin with. So I'm like, as long as it doesn't come in under the house where the air conditioner, the package unit is, then I'm okay. Uh, or I guess through the grates because we're on a raised whatever. Like we have a crawl space under our house. A lot of houses in this county are built on slabs, um, which is funny because most of the people that I know that their house is built on a slab, they get really bad pest problems, ants and other crawlies. And we don't necessarily have that problem. Um, but then like you have to have these like open spaces for like the air to circulate. And I'm like, what if it floods? It's gonna get under my house. So, whatever. See why you needed that drink before you started? um, so homeschool, things are moving along. Uh, Sam just got her first assignment in language arts that she has to do in oral report. Um, so she's not as excited about that as I am. I can remember my first oral report that I ever gave, and this I'm only sharing this because it I think it kind of like carved a path for me that I just decided that if I was going to get up in front of the class and get tongue tied, I was going to roll with it. Um, and I did get tongue tied, as I do. And I think I was in the fourth grade, the fifth grade, something like that. She's older than that, but hasn't needed to do in-person language arts. So I got up in front of the class and I started getting tongue tied, and then I just did this whole like blah, 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 and the whole class starts cracking up, and then I just keep going like nothing ever happened. And I really have to give a lot of credit to my teacher at the time because they could have gotten mad at me for acting out in class, but they realized that that was like a coping thing for me. Um, that's how I recentered myself. And I I didn't do it for every oral report that I ever gave, but I do remember doing that same thing in high school on at least one occasion where I got a little tongue-tied and I just made this really bizarre noise and then I kept going. And even that teacher, they knew me long enough at that point that it didn't really faze them, but it's just how I did. And I do not usually have a problem talking in front of people, which is probably good because going live can be a little intimidating. Um, Sarah, Sarah makes fart noises when she gets tongue-tied. That's awesome. The reason I'm reading the comments is I am not sure if Sarah is watching on Facebook or on YouTube, and this, oh, I am watching. I don't know. This chat thing is supposed to tell me when people are commenting, but it looks like it's only telling me when YouTube is commenting. So maybe I need to check. Let me check something. I'm hopefully I'm still that. Nope. Let me open up my mute. There we go. Okay. All right. So I just opened up Facebook just in case. And I will check that every couple seconds because it doesn't look like it's updating. I have to check that whole multi-stream. I don't know. I've talked about it before. I use something called Streamlabs so that I can stream simultaneously on one camera. And yeah, you're on YouTube. So I stream on one camera, but it goes to two places because all of the social media whatevers, they don't want to work together and be buddies. So you have to like find a mutual friend for them to hang out with. um, so I like if I ask people to comment, then I should be able to see, what people are saying. Um, but sometimes Facebook doesn't want to cooperate anyways. And so anyways, this Streamlab says that I should be able to watch multi-stream. Oh, okay, now it's showing. Cool, cool. Although it's only showing one thing that Miss Sarah said. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see. So that's really all for homeschool. Business wise, I did have a couple of orders, so I've been filling those. Yay for orders. One thing that I noticed, well, I'll go in order of my list. So I have been working on cleaning up this room. My lovely friend Sarah inspired me to do some clean with me videos. So I will be filming myself cleaning all of this. That should be so much fun. Um, I just need to like make some spaces because this I need to be able to get to, let's see if I can do this, to my machine here. And then right next to it is my heat press. I got to get back over to that. And I've just got some things on the floor behind me. And then this here is actually my cutting table um, that is covered in things because that's how I roll. I think I talked about this like a week or two ago. I feel like even though my old sewing room was smaller, I had more storage space. So I have to find places for all the things, and that way I can work. But I'm really excited to start working again. I have lots of ideas. I have tons of notes from the last year. So I am just kind of bursting to be able to get back to embroidery. Right now, the only things listed on my website are t-shirts, which can be purchased in a tank, a t-shirt, uh, a sweatshirt, or a hoodie. So, like, there's a lot of flexibility in that, lots of colors. But my thing is sewing, and I can't wait to get back to that. So I'm really excited about that. Um, and so yeah, once uh, this section here is going to be first, and then this table is going to be next. Um, and once I have that done, I already have the bins accessible that I can start taking new photos of the products that I already have in stock and getting those listed on my website. Some of the things I have in stock are going to be discontinued items. They are things that I offered in my old shop and that I won't be making any more of in the future. So if you've purchased from me before and you are interested in any of the educational toys, the handmade masks, the costume pieces, I urge you to sign up for the email list because that is where the notifications are going to go for those items. I won't be posting a lot to social media for that. They will go directly to the email list. Um, Anything new to my shop that I will be selling in the future because I can remake it and will be remaking them as part of my product lines. Those will also be listed, and those will be listed on social media as well as in emails. Those are things like key fobs and zipper bags, like coin purses, clutches, and then anything new that I make from there. But I also am going to be doing, what do I have? I have like kitchen towels and napkins and aprons and like some home good kind of stuff. So I'm super excited about that because I will also be listing those. Right now I just have the blanks. That's the blank item because I don't make the aprons. I just embroider on them for now. So those I have to put the designs on them before I can list them. But I'm excited. I'm very excited. Uh, and then and that kind of rolls into, it is difficult to gain traction on social media as a small business. I do work with a business coach and I adore her for all of the advice that she provides. I think it's vital. Um, but right now, for like those t-shirts, for me, I like making them. They're fun, and I like wearing them. I don't wear customer shirts. I only wear my own. Uh, so I like making them, and they're fairly easy to make. I mean, I can like do a batch of them all at once, and I can get the supplies fairly quickly, so I don't have to carry them um, in my garage all the time. Uh, But there are a lot of t-shirt shops out there. And while I make mine in-house, meaning I order the shirt from a company and I order a transfer from a company and I put them together here in my home with that heat press. There are some people that they don't do that, that maybe they create the design and they have a third party that prints the shirt for them. But either way, a lot of us have very similar styles, And especially when you get close to a holiday, like everybody obviously is coming out with Valentine's Day right now because that's the next holiday and it's less than a month away. And it does take a little turnaround time for businesses to get these to you. It's definitely not like going to Walmart and getting the $5 Valentine's shirt out of their bin. Um, I have tested the shirts and I'm right now I'm a plus size woman and I have tested plus size tops. Uh, I do work online with some other people and they do the testing on the smaller shirts. So I know what I'm getting is a good quality and I know that they're a better quality than what you're getting in a store, a convenience store, like the one that starts with a W and the one that starts with a T. Um, but when I see other like businesses posting like all the same things, then it gets a little frustrating because the social media algorithms are so difficult to maneuver. Um, I'm on a lot of social media for my business. I am for personal as well, but I'm for my business. And like Instagram, I might get this huge reach from one post, and Facebook, like two people see it. Uh, and like TikTok, it's it's all over the place. Like what gets seen. Um, so yeah. So today it really reminded me, especially as I'm scrolling social media and I'm seeing like the different small businesses that are similar to mine. And I'm not mad at them for posting things that are similar to my content. That's what we do. This is the time of year to do that. Uh, but I know that the things that I make, that I actually hand make by hand myself, that was a weird sentence, um, those do stand out. So that was another thing today that was really like, oh, I need to get back to sewing. So those are the updates. And I have a different kind of script. I have notes about what I wanted to talk about tonight, which is chore lists and schedules, because I am not good with that stuff. um, Without getting too like personal or too much information, growing up when I was a child, up until I hit my teenage years, there was a lot of, we moved around a lot. There was a lot of chaos. There was not a lot of structure to how we did things. My mom had one friend that, I mean, she had more than one friend, but she had one friend in particular that would come over every once in a while and she would help us clean our house. And it was like oil and water with she and I. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's some personal things that I just didn't really like about her, but her way of cleaning, her way of digging into a project was so grating to me. Um, and maybe that's more like a psychological thing, my lack of control as a small child, whatever. But I hated cleaning, as most children do, but I really hated everything about the way that this woman did things. And I had no like training, I had no like comfortable and good example of how to take care of things and how to clean things, clean my room, whatever. Um, like no base point, no starting point for that, from early childhood into my very beginning teenage years. And right before I became a teenager, my parents got divorced and my father remarried a woman, who I love. And even though they're not married now, she and I are still friends. And I appreciate a lot of the structure that she taught me as a teenager and moving into adulthood. Um, and she will tell you she is an OCD clean freak. I don't think she is as much now as she was, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But she was very like everything had to be a certain way, and that was good structure for me. There were still things that she and I didn't see eye to eye on, and there were still things that like I really struggled with because she had this set way that she wanted things done, and I kind of couldn't reach that bar for her, which is fine. We're on good terms, so like there is no hard feelings on it. Um, but but it is what it is that she set the structure. She said, on Saturday you're going to do laundry and you're going to wash it and dry it and fold it and put it away, and that's the day you're going to do it. And for years that's what I did. Saturday was the day I did laundry. Even into adulthood, Saturday was the day I did laundry. Um, there were other things like cleaning the bathroom. I think I cleaned the bathroom on Saturdays. Now, granted, at this time that I'm doing this as a teenager, I was in high school. So it's not like I was just at home and I could clean the bathroom during the middle of the day. I did it on Saturday because I was at school all week long. Every night I cleaned the kitchen after dinner. Um, I'm trying to think of some of the other things that I did. We had certain chores and we did them on certain days, and that was a great starting point for me because it did teach me that you don't have to do it all on one day and that there are things you need to do every day to kind of keep up with things. Um, but I wasn't making that list myself, and I still didn't have control over, like, well, what I was doing and when I was doing it and the level to which I was getting it done. Um, and I've talked about the whole like, I'm not messy, I just needed to learn how to organize in a previous video. Uh, I've talked about cleaning quite a few times, and nope, that's the Mom Fog book. Um, I think it's on my iPad. Uh, the clutter connection was a huge eye opener for me about my cleaning style and how I need to do things. So I'm not going to get all into that. But creating a list and a schedule, especially for my kids, it's also for me, but it's for them, so that we're all on the same page and we all have the same expectations, or as close to the same expectations as possible. Um, so just the benefits of having the list and the schedule is staying organized and staying on task. I could tell my kids every day that the litter box needs to be emptied, but if I leave it up to their schedule, it doesn't end up getting done because they say, oh, I'll do it after breakfast, I'll do it after lunch, I'll do it after dinner, I'll do it before bed. And then it's 3 days later. Not literally, but you know what I mean. So having not just the list, but the schedule helps us all stay on track for what needs to get done and when. Um, it, of course, it's helpful for children to learn responsibilities and the importance of maintaining cleanliness and being organized. It will hopefully help prevent stress and conflict because everyone should know what needs to get done and when it needs to get done. And then we're not arguing about who needs to do it. So we are in the process of getting our notes together, my kids and I, about what chores need to be done and when. And then we will be fitting that into our homeschool schedule because something for me, I don't like saving all the chores for one chunk of time. I would rather do a little bit all day long. So like one chore, that's what I talk to the kids about. They'll do one chore after breakfast, they'll do one chore during our lunch break, and then they'll do one chore before, or I'm sorry, after we finish our homeschool day, and then they get free time for the rest of the day when I go work. And then we'll still have some chores on the weekends, but it just kind of keeps us moving along. So, uh, yeah. And one of the things that my business coach had told me a few years ago was to do this with the kids because working from home, working in the house, and having my own business, I wear all the hats right now. My business is not big enough that I can afford to have someone doing all of my social media and someone to do all of my video editing. And so listings alone can take me 2 hours just to write the content to put it into a listing. And that just gets it available for sale. Doing the social media to keep the algorithms happy, that is 4 to 5 hours a week just for the written content. Then you have to actually put together the images or the videos. Oh Lord, the short form videos right now, TikToks and Reels and stories, and now YouTube wants shorts. Um, I can make them some shorts. uh, you have to find time to do all this stuff. And that's part of the reason that I'm filming and putting content more now on YouTube is if I have to film it anyway to put it on these other social media platforms, then I'm going to film along for them and put it on YouTube and share those experiences with the other mamas. So that and also the live helps with all of this as well. Uh, so back when I was talking to my coach about what ways that the family could help out. And she said, get your kids to do chores. And of course, you're the parent. You have to decide the capability of your own child. Because I can give you a list of things that young children can potentially do, but every child is different. My oldest, she was unloading the dishwasher. I think I used to just tell her not to do the silverware, but I would have her doing plates and cups and all that stuff at like 6 years old. Her sister, it would up until she was like 10, was still asking me where things went. And I don't know if that was because she was trying to get out of unloading the dishwasher or because she just really never paid attention. So you have to um, you have to make the decision for your own kids. But for young children, some of the things that they can do is make their own bed. Again, my oldest, she started making her bed all on her own, fairly young. My youngest, she does not like to make her bed. And I don't blame her. I don't like making my bed either. Um, but, so I have leeway on that one. But if you want your kids to make the bed, have them make the bed, but teach them how. Like do it with them a couple of times, and that way they know what your expectation is, and maybe you have to pull back a little and meet a little bit of their expectation. Um, and I'll talk about that a little bit later too with some of the other things. Putting away their toys. My sister-in-law is the ultimate mom goals when it comes to toy organization. Um, I wish that I had those capabilities. I just don't. I am like I just can't do it. But again, putting their toys away, that needs to fall in a place where you both are comfortable. If you absolutely have to have every single Lego organized by color, size, and shape, that may not work so well. But if you have a bin where you tell the kids when you're done playing Legos, you put all of them, actually, the plural for Legos is Lego. So I forget that sometimes. Um, you tell them when you're done playing, you put them away. And even, of course, as the adult, you have to be the one checking up on that. But if you give them a broader ability to put things away, uh, then I believe you would see a better result than the whole like organize them alphabetically kind of thing. It says in the list here, dust and vacuum. Again, that depends on the circumstance. Watering plants, cleaning windows. My kids used to love cleaning the toilet. It was weird. Um, and they didn't like do it as well as I wanted it done, but I would let them go in there with the toilet brush and they could scrub away for as long until they got bored. And then I just come in and give it a quick wipe because they did most of the work. Wiping down surfaces. I hate stickiness anywhere. Like, that was always the turn off of like children for me was children are sticky. Um, Maybe not all children, but that was what my brain told me a long time ago. So I have had my kids go and wipe down doorknobs and uh, I did notice recently our house tends to be very dark. That's the way that my husband used to like to have things. We have very you can see this kind of red color here. It's like a really brown burgundy. Um, he liked everything very dark. So even the walls in our house are really dark. And but then you have like a few things that are light. All of our doors are, well, I think they started out white. But and I was looking at it today and I don't know whose hands were touching these things because I don't touch the doors like that. But I've had my oldest go through, and every time I find a wall that I haven't noticed before, I'm like, can you wipe that down? So they can do it. Little kids could do it. Um, some of the things on the list I found really interesting because they also serve multiple purposes. So things like sorting and organizing clothes, sorting and organizing books, sorting and organizing shoes and socks and things in the pantry. Not only does that accomplish getting the chore done, you can make it a game and it's a learning lesson all in one. So you can tell them, in the pantry, put all of the cans of vegetables on one shelf or together, match up all the corn and all the green beans. Like you can totally make a thing out of that. Same with socks. I have a basket of socks that I just hate folding. I hate folding socks mostly because I hate matching socks. So, but every once in a while, I will grab both the kids and we go on, sit on my bed, and I dump the basket out and I say, okay, you're in charge of all the blue and purple, and you're in charge of all of the red and pink, and I will do all of the white, and then we'll come back and we'll get the rest of the colors. So they don't even have to actually match the socks. They just have to pull out the colors and make piles of colors. And then it's faster for me to go in and match the socks back up. Um, and little kids can do this, and it's great because you're teaching them colors. So, that's that weird homeschool mom in me that I'm always looking for that stuff. Collecting the laundry and putting it in hampers. We have a very large collection of laundry baskets for some reason. I mean, I know the reason, but I'm not going to share it today. So we have a lot of laundry baskets. And I have been having my kids, hey, throw the stuff in the laundry basket, bring it to the garage. My oldest is now old enough that I have her helping with that, but like loading and moving and whatever. But little kids can absolutely do that. You can put the basket anywhere and they can bring the clothes to the basket. You don't have to bring the basket to the clothes if they can't lift it. It does say emptying and loading the dishwasher. Oh, yeah, dishwasher. I was thinking clothes washer. Empty and load the dishwasher. I just had this conversation with my youngest the other day because she likes to argue with me that she can't load the dishwasher because she doesn't do it the way I like it. I do have a certain way that I like the dishwasher loaded. But what I told her is if you at least rinse off your dish and put it in the dishwasher, I don't really care where it goes because it takes me less time to move the things that are already in the dishwasher than it does for you guys to load the sink full. And then I have to undo everything because you've got hand wash and dishwasher and sharp knives are kind of somewhere in there. And I'm trying not to cut myself. Um, so that's where that flexibility comes in, is saying you don't have to do it the way I do it. I just need you to do your best, and I'll come in and I'll do my OCD part of it when I need to. Setting the table. We don't always set the table. We don't always eat at the table. Um, but my kids have been setting the table when it's time for dinner for years. And they used to love doing it. And you don't have to put out a fork, knife, and spoon every meal or even every dinner time. If all you need is spoons because you're having soup and sandwiches, just tell them to grab the spoons and some napkins. Call that done. Don't make it more work than it is, but at least have them do it, because that way, when you are serving that hot food, you don't have to stop and go do it. Because let's be honest, moms are number one at eating cold food because we're constantly on the go doing things. So sometimes enjoy a hot meal, give your kid a thing to do. Sweeping the floor, again, that is one that I'm a little bit more particular about. So my kids don't like doing it. We have a Swiffer vacuum. I don't I don't recommend those. Um, I don't like battery powered vacuums. I just don't think that they work well. Um, I feel like I have a floor vacuum somewhere in this house. We have hardwood floors in the majority of our house. Only two bedrooms have carpet. Um, and then the rest of the house is either linoleum or hardwood. So for the most part, you can sweep pretty much everything. But um, I wouldn't even, like, I've told my kids, let me find the vacuum that you can use on the hardwood and just use that. Because if we have four cats and subsequently we have four litter boxes, and between scooping the litter and then the cats just using them, it gets all over the place. So I'm like, no, we need to clean that. That's a hard one for me. Feeding the pets, that my kids have definitely been doing for a long time. The rule was when we started getting pets, we had just cats, um, was that I was going to not have to take care of the cats. That was originally the agreement. I said that I don't do litter, I don't do feeding, and none of that. Like, if I have to give them the medicine, then that's my role. Obviously, that I've had to compromise on because I am now the only adult in the house. But feeding the cats, that's definitely on the kids. Um, and we have one very needy cat that right before I was getting to the computer to go live, she's just sitting there like, you need to do something for me. And I'm like, I don't know if they need food or water, but she obviously needs something. She has that look. And they had food in their bowl, so she might have been low on water. I don't know. Maybe she just wanted somebody to pet her. Um, Helping with meal preparation. So my kids, oh, I like cooking. I really, really like cooking. I don't like cooking with kids at all. I do it because kids in the kitchen is a great way to teach them about math and science, and reading, just reading, the recipe. Um, but math, it's all about, cups, teaspoons, all that stuff. And science, it's absolutely science as the ingredients change form. But you don't have to get all into that. Like, if you just want to get some child safe knives, you could have them cutting potatoes or carrots or whatever. Um, Whatever level your child is at for being in the kitchen, have them do it. I had a lot of mom guilt early on in our homeschooling years because I was working full time for my father's HVAC business, and we were homeschooling, and then I had stuff to do at home. I was just starting my business back then. Um, and so there were a lot of times like I would fix breakfast, but I would tell the kids, you guys need to fix lunch for yourself. And when I stopped working for my dad and I was at home doing my own business and homeschooling, I, I don't know why, but something in my brain told me, oh, well, you need to start making their lunches now. And I was wasting so much time making food that, uh, my youngest daughter is allergic to peanuts, and my oldest daughter doesn't like eggs, and so I was making three different breakfasts and three different lunches, and it was all kinds of crazy. And I went to our charter school does workshops, and I went to a workshop once, and one of the moms said that her kids are responsible for their breakfast and their lunch, and she just took care of the dinners. And I gave myself like the biggest get out of jail free card for that, because I'm like, you don't have to hold on to that guilt now. If I'm making breakfast and they have to do lunch, so we have a rule that if they don't get up when I tell them, they have to make their own breakfast. But if they get up when I tell them, then I will make breakfast. Um, and it's not always like I don't always do eggs and bacon and pancakes. Like sometimes that just means I toast a bagel for them. Um, but at least they don't have to do it. So yeah. Trash and recycling. My oldest does help me with the trash. Both kids help with the recycling. If you're not in California, you may not have the same recycling options that we do. Um, but we do, yeah, we have to separate everything. So our trash gets picked up outside once a week. Usually I take the cans down to the street. It's down the driveway. It's not that far. Um, but they take everything out to the cans that are, it's usually in my backyard because we're not supposed to have them in the front yard. But right now I have them in the front yard. Don't tell. Don't tell. And then it says take care of younger siblings. I don't love that option, but sometimes within reason. Putting away the groceries, my kids absolutely help with that. Even when they were younger, we're still on that. This is the last few things of the younger kid list. Um, Putting away the groceries, because then they know where they are when they want a snack. It helps. And my kids know the minute we come in with groceries, they jump right into putting away all of the cold stuff first. And then usually I put away the pantry stuff. Um, but they will have, like, if I unload the car, they usually have all of the refrigerated and freezer stuff put away before I'm even done unloading the dry stuff out of the car. So yeah, kids can absolutely help with that. And then the last thing on the younger children list is helping with yard work. I don't do yard work. I have really bad allergies, and I have avoided yard work my entire life uh, because I can't breathe. And I don't know what I'm going to do this year because now I don't have any other adults here to help me with that. Um, but my father-in-law has offered to come over and help. So, and we don't have a lot of greenery in our front yard. There was something put down that grass was not supposed to grow up through, or weeds, whatever, and they still do. So I think it's supposed to rain tonight, and then it's going to dry out for a couple days. And my father-in-law said when it dries out, he is going to come over and help me spray the yard. And then once it's sprayed, the kids and I can go out and like grab up all the dead stuff. Um, when it's cooler outside, my allergies are not as hypersensitive. So I'm hoping that if I don't have like issues with it, that'll be fine. Because I know last year, one of my best friends from high school came over to help with my backyard stuff, and it was like dry and gross. And she had to tell me to come in the house because I was coughing and sneezing and wheezing. And she's like, Heidi, why are you out here? You can't breathe. And I'm like, I'm here for moral support. She's like, oh my gosh, go do something else. So I love her for that though. And then we've got basically, I only looked up two different lists because we're almost at an hour. And let's be honest, you don't want to sit here for 2 hours listening to me talk to you about chores. So the teenager list obviously includes everything that was on that younger child list: the sweeping, the dusting, wiping down countertops and surfaces, dishwasher, trash and recycling, cleaning the bathroom. My kids have since stopped loving cleaning the toilet. They rised up on that. Um, They are responsible for the litter boxes for the cats, uh, which they always need reminders, but they do it at least. And we all work on the bathrooms. Um, Usually I will have one of them wipe down like the bathtub and the sink and clean the mirror. And then the other I will have wipe down the walls and the baseboards. Seriously, the baseboards. Because I have a thing about baseboards. I don't know why. And we'll be adding the door to that. So they do like the like lower to the floor stuff. And then I do the sweeping and I clean the toilet because they don't like cleaning the toilet, and our toilets aren't that bad. Yeah, but because I keep them a certain way. Um, so we share the bathroom duties. That sounded funny. Um, but and it makes it go much faster, much faster. And I tell them to wipe out the sink whenever they use it because that also keeps it going. It says mopping the kitchen and bathroom floors. They don't, they already don't love sweeping, so I can't imagine what they're going to do when I start to teach them how to mop things. But I do think they need to learn how to do it, just so they know. Washing and folding laundry. So this is one of those things where you have to figure out what your expectation is and what their expectation is and meet in the middle. Um, I like to put all of my clothes away fairly close to right out of the dryer, but definitely like folded or hung up. Um, so the way that we do it is they bring the laundry out, and sometimes they will load the washer. Most of the time I load the washer because I did a whole video about my washer. You'd have to check it out. But I have a love-hate relationship with my washer. And so I load it a certain way so I can try to get the clothes as clean as possible. Excuse me, clean as possible. Because high efficiency washers is a crock. Um, that's my angry moment. So so usually when the wash is done, I will ask Samantha to come out, um, move the stuff from the washer into the dryer unless I think there's something in there that can't be dried, and then I do it. Otherwise, she does it. And then I come out and I start a new load and I start the dryer. And then I ask her, can you bring the stuff out of the dryer for me? And then I fold it and I tell the kids to come get their laundry. And the rule is if I fold it and they unfold it, it's on them. So they're supposed to go and put their laundry away. And we're still working on their bedrooms. They both have dressers now. At one point, neither of them had dressers, and then one of them did, one of them didn't. Now they both have dressers, and they're good sized dressers, but their closets are seriously lacking. So that's going to be the next chore on our list. Um, at first, they would just take their clothes and throw them into the dresser drawers. So I would spend all this time folding, and they just tossed it in. And I used to get really mad about that. And I'm like, no, no, no. You have to put like the pants in this drawer and the underwear in this drawer. Like I had this whole system from back in my own teenage years about how I had to do things. Uh, so I finally said, okay, look, your clothes are going to fit in the drawers better if you leave them folded. But if you're choosing to not leave them folded, do not ask me to refold it for you. So we've had that come up a couple of times now, especially with Evie, that she doesn't, she gets really hurried and she just throws the stuff in there and it's not folded, and then she realizes she's out of space. So I've had to show her how to refold things. But we are getting to that point where they're going to have to start folding on their own. This is mowing the lawn. We don't have a lawn. My brother used to be responsible for mowing the lawn when we were teenagers. That was his job. Washing the car. People wash their cars still. We go through the drive-through car wash. That's fun. Um, and the drive-through car wash can absolutely be a reward. don't forget to reward yourself or your kids when you're doing chores. Like, I get it, some people have like chores and they pay their kids an allowance for doing the chore, but my kids like my kids still like going through the car wash. So if that's a fun thing, it's a reward because I don't have to wash the car and they think it's hilariously funny going through the car wash. So there you go. Small wins where you can get them. It says weed and prune the garden. Okay. Uh, we are going to be trying to plant a garden this year, so that will definitely be one of the things on our list. We do have a composter, so uh, it is the chore of one of the girls to take the composter bucket out of the kitchen and dump it daily. Um, so that's a chore, part of the whole garden thing. This is clean the gutters. That's hilarious. I can't even clean the gutters. I am deathly afraid of ladders, and maybe that's not the gutters they're talking about, but I don't know. And I don't know why they would clean the street gutters because we have a street sweeper. I don't know what that one is. I Googled a lot of these. Washing windows, they absolutely can wash windows. Organize the garage or storage area. They do help with organizing things around the house, but whatever pertains to your particular situation. Obviously, I'm not going to ask my kids to come out here and clean and organize my sewing room, which is in the garage. Um, and then helping with grocery shopping and meal preparation. Uh, this first experience with meal prep, I I took on a lot, and um, I had to like step back a bit, and the kids were very good with telling me that I needed to step back a little bit with it. So that was great. If you watch the prep with me video, you definitely see their feet in and out of the kitchen. They come and keep me company when I'm doing the work. They don't really want to be on camera, like face wise. So I usually tell them when I'm recording, and usually the cameras are pointed just directly towards whatever I'm working on, except of course when I'm live. But I even tell them if I'm recording short form video, if I'm recording a story or a TikTok or whatever, um, I will tell them, look, I'm recording in whatever room of the house that I'm in, and you know, either don't interrupt me or you might be in the video. So I don't know. Usually the meal prep I'm going to try to be doing as YouTube videos, but they do absolutely, my kids specifically, have input um, with grocery shopping. Whenever we go grocery shopping, I'm constantly telling them to put things on the list. Um, and they do make a lot of food themselves. Sammy more so than Evie, but they definitely help out a lot in the kitchen. Um, and they always have. Uh, that was a big thing for me, just from my early childhood. Was I always did a lot of things in the kitchen. I worked in food service for a long time, so I'm like, no, if you're old enough to eat it, no, I'm just kidding. Um, I did it how I felt they could. I still don't think that I don't let them, if like they can boil pasta. They can boil the water for pasta and they can cook the pasta, but then when it's time to dump the pot, I usually do it because it's kind of heavy, and the pots that I have metal handles, and so I'm like, that's just a lot. Same with when we make stuff in the oven. I sometimes they'll put it in, but I'm always the one that takes it out because I just don't want to deal with burns. So yeah, that's about it. Um, So make lists. Make not just they're not just for the kids, they're for grown-ups too. If if you need to get things done, the most efficient ways to do it, maybe not, well, who knows? For me, the most efficient way to do it is to make a list and to put it on a schedule. And it doesn't have to be like at 6 o'clock on Saturday, I'm going to fold one basket of laundry. It's just on Saturday in the morning, I need to do a load of laundry from start to finish. Um, and I started doing that with a notebook. I'm not going to show you the whole notebook. I have a cousin that homeschools, and she does like notebook planning, I think she calls it. It's been a long time since I've watched her video about it, but she just gets like a 3 ring binder notebook thingy, spiral, whatever. Um, and she writes down the list for the kids, what they have to do each day, and then they cross it off and whatever. So I started doing that for myself, but for chores. Um, and so I have each day is a page, and I just write down all of the things that I need to get done, whether it's for my business or a house chore or whatever. And then I kind of have a system, like I put a star by things that have to get done and a dot by things that should get done. And then I dash by things that if I have time at the end of the day and I can get those in, get them in, otherwise they can move to the next day. Um, so yeah, so it's just about prioritizing, getting that list of things, um, scheduling out when you can get it done, and working with not just your expectations, but the expectations of the person that's going to be doing the chore, because the two are not the same. Maybe they are in your situation, but from what I've seen in my own situations, people rarely think exactly the same way about the same thing. So I wish you luck. If you have any tips or tricks or comments, feel free to leave them for me and share your experiences with chore lists and schedules for chores. Even if you have a great reward system, I'd love to hear about that as well. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up, follow or subscribe, and comment with hashtag live or hashtag replay. All of these interactions not only help push the videos out to more people that would enjoy them, they help me know